What's going on, everybody? Welcome to On the Chain. This is Chip. Jeff is not here, but he may be joining us a little bit later tonight. We got a lot of stuff as usual to unpack, but we're going to go ahead and go through it. Crypto skyrockets, Ripple, XRP. It just keeps on winning. Binance, believe this or not, basically buys Forbes. Yeah. And Russia is getting ready to adopt crypto as a currency. You guys ready? Let's do this. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome, everybody. You know, as we always do, I would ask you to go ahead and drop your city and your country. I love to see where everyone's coming in. Believe me or not, Jeff and I look at this, especially we read all comments. And if you're watching on the replay, that means you too. Leave a comment right now. Of course, you can't do it now because we're live, but you can do it now because you're watching the replay, or so it goes. So as soon as I untangle my headphones here, but I want to get into a bunch of things tonight. Especially, I'm very encouraged. I want to start off by saying that I'm incredibly encouraged by what's happening, just in the world in general, just what's happening. I see things that happen on a news day like today that give a lot of hope, and probably one of the greatest, if not the best ever use case for Bitcoin. And there's a lot of use cases. A lot of people say, like, well, what's the use case for Bitcoin? And is it a store of value? And then we saw a story not too long ago where they said, well, it can't be a store of value because it's too volatile. It goes up, it goes down. How can it possibly be a store of value? Something like gold or silver, but you know, gold holds its value pretty well. You might go back 10 years to find a drop, but it doesn't really go up a lot either. It hovers around $1,800 US and doesn't really change. I know spot price for silver's changed. It's kind of been a little bit more flexible. That's a store of value, but Bitcoin is a store of value. Bitcoin has one other secret ingredient, and that ingredient is a use case that I'm going to cover tonight that I think plays beautifully into why we are so into decentralization. The fact that decentralization is 100% connected to freedom. I don't know any other way to say that, but it is connected to freedom, right? Because one of the things about any kind of cryptocurrency is it, in a decentralized manner, it offers a lot, and especially it's censor proof. That's probably one of the greatest things. Now, you might argue about that point or not, but I do believe it is 100% censor proof. Look at this. We got Sydney in the house. Love all of our Aussie viewers in there. Sydney getting ready to go to moon in a Lambo wearing an XRP shirt. Will it have XRP on the front and back? That's what I want to know, Andrew. Will it be at front and back? Maybe like a blockchain backer hat on. That might be kind of cool and interesting as well. Look at this right here. Alchemist says, yeah, gold is depreciated 30% in 10 years. Inflation, stagnation. Yeah, if you add that in, again, not a great store of value potentially either. So there's always that rub as well. Robert Morris says, hey, I like where it's going. Guess what? So do I. Hans Loaded, smash the like. Daytona Beach is in the house. Oh, look at that. San Carlos, Chile. My wife is Chilena. What do you think about that? That's right. So it's good to have Chile in the house and excited to see that. Look at this. More Sydney, Australia coming to us. We have Chi-Town. Tell me something good. Chi-Town, I will do my best. I'm on it right now, man. So thanks for that. Glad to be here. You missed the show. Yeah, I noticed you weren't in the comments. It was really weird, John Doe. He's always here and almost never misses the show. But look, everyone has lives. I mean, there's Crypto Butthead. My Bitcoin is mooning. That's right. It sure is. And that's what I want to talk about. Look at this. Matt Hamilton in the house. Good to see you, Matt. But again, what I want to talk about is a couple things. And really, the crux of all of it is decentralization. It comes down to it. I know it's exciting when countries talk about currency being adopted as legal tender. That's awesome. But I'm waiting for the next evolution of that. Which country will evolve into a DAO? That right there is going to be very exciting, because then everybody Everything's recorded on the blockchain. That means all people are equal, have an equal vote, and you don't even probably need to leave your house. It's all recorded on the blockchain. I think that's going to be something special. So let's look at this right here. I want to start off with this here, and this one. Let's look at this story right here. This is interesting. So Binance, this is getting crazy every single day. Binance, led by the world's richest crypto billionaire, is taking a $200 million stake in Forbes. Binance, the funds will help Forbes execute on its plan to merge with a publicly traded special purpose acquisition company, or a SPAC, in the first quarter, according to people with knowledge of the deal. Now, hopefully these people that actually have knowledge of the deal, I always love when they say they have knowledge of the deal. I'm hoping that it's actually a deal, but I don't think they would release something on this, but it is in CNBC, usually pretty reputable in that way. But let's just see. Well, let's read a little deeper here. Binance will replace half of the $400 million in commitments from institutional investors announced earlier, making it one of the top 2 biggest owners of Forbes after the listing. Now, this is incredible. So we've seen, and there's CZ probably breaking it down. I don't know if we're going to listen to that, but I would just flip through here. Yeah, so investors have grown skeptical of SPAC deals generally, and media deals in particular, but SPAC deals have a different set of circumstances, which is, I think, why companies like them so much. And I think there's probably going to be some pillars of enforcement going on, or some kind of changing going on there as well. But you have Binance stepping in here, and it's kind of a crazy thing. I don't know the play here, but it's interesting to watch. It would make Binance one of the top 2 biggest owners. We already covered that. I'm trying to look for some new info here. The move shows that increasingly the world influence of the crypto sector, which has seen surging valuations and minted a new class of billionaires amid global interest in digital assets. Now, while crypto companies have gone public, affixed with their names to sports arenas, and there's one right down the road for me down here in Miami, which is the FTX Arena. That's where the Miami Heat play basketball, and that's where there's a lot of concerts. And also in Los Angeles, where the LA Lakers play ball, then you can see they also are in the crypto.com. This is huge. I mean, we're like, when the moon, when Lambo? Well, when adoption is happening right before our very eyes, you can't really blink. You might just miss it all. And also flooded the airway with celebrity endorsements. This is the sector's first big investment in a traditional U.S. media property. Got to really stay close. So Forbes was founded more than a century ago by the grandfather of editor-in-chief, 2-time presidential candidate Steve Forbes. In 2014, Forbes sold a 95% stake to a Hong Kong-based integrated whale media at a valuation of $475 million. There's Zhao Zhepeng, better known as ZC there, and he's look at him, he's all dressed up. He looks pretty dapper there. I usually see him like in a t-shirt or something, but look at him, he dresses up, cleans up nice. It's a category the Binance founder and CEO CZ joined recently. Last month, the network of Zhao, who prefers to go by CZ, was pegged at $96 billion. So, here's like the big question. $96 billion, do you want to even show up at any responsibility? I don't know. I look at someone like, Musk, and he's out there making rockets and doing stuff like that. But I mean, you're worth basically $100 billion. Let's round it up a little bit, right? It goes up and down. Why do you show up to do anything anymore? I mean, honestly, what is the drive? I mean, I know you're bringing something new. You buy Forbes, you do stuff like that, but I don't know. There might be some bigger things you might be able to do and fry, but I don't know. I guess it's just me. I'm going to go back over here to the chat, see what's going on over here. Look at this. Van says, I'm praying XRP drops some more. Pack those bags, folks. Yeah, I was actually hoping for a small, maybe like a minor, nothing big, just like a small, like, oh, look at that. It dropped down to 20 cents again. That's weird. And then it goes up. So I've seen this floated around a lot. I don't know where this gathered some steam or what's going on. Would Ripple buy Coinbase? I mean, who really knows? I mean, does Ripple need Coinbase? It's kind of interesting that Ripple was the very first decentralized exchange. They introduced the first DEX. Now it's commonplace, but you look at the XRPL at the first, it's still decentralized exchange. And I'm not sure if they'd want to go buy a property like that, but anything's possible. I just don't know where this got started, this rumor. I saw a couple people tweeting it about it, and a couple people piling on saying, yeah, I agree with that. So it's really hard to know exactly what's going to happen. Let me see. I saw a tweet. Yeah, so here we go. Alan says XRP is going to rise from the ashes as what they say is definitely going to drop in price before it moons. That's pretty often kind of just history, right? That's kind of what happens. We had blockchain background the other night kind of reinforce that. And also, like it or not, XRP it hasn't really decoupled, or really a lot of things haven't decoupled. Well, there's a couple that have decoupled from Bitcoin. But let's face it, there haven't been a tremendous amount of things. And most of the market goes up, Bitcoin starts going up, market starts going up right with it. So that's something pretty interesting as well. Here's another interesting story. Let's pull this one up. Let me get rid of some browser things here. So this, you want to talk about how the market moves, who's getting involved in the market. Again, this is why, I mean, there's so much exciting stuff in the last 2 days when it comes to adoption, when it comes to participation in the crypto sphere. Check this out. This is another mind-blowing story here. At least I believe it is. It's pretty incredible. Look at this here. Here we have breaking. We have $10 trillion asset management firm BlackRock to offer crypto trading services. Now, if you guys don't know who BlackRock, you've been living under a rock somewhere. BlackRock is one of the most massive entities, and 10 trillion. I actually think it's more like 18 to 20 trillion. I'm not sure if that number is accurate, but just figure a $10 trillion asset management firm, they're going to offer crypto services. So that's incredible. Before we go any further, let me just go throw this up there. Appreciate that, Gray Man. Where's the other dude? You think it'll dump before the crypto bowl? The other dude is out. Sometimes, look, we have lives, man. We have things to do sometimes. He may be joining us at the tail end. I hope he is back in time. But the other dude, better known as Jeff Gray, man, the other dude is not here. But that's good. If I wasn't here, he'd be like, hey, where's that other dude, right? BlackRock looking to allow its clients to trade crypto or currencies. Mega Asset Manager looking to start its offering with client support trading before proceeding to offer its own credit facility for crypto trading. This is according to sources. Guys, wait for it. Familiar with the plans. A little bit similar. Familiar with the story, familiar with this, People are familiar with stuff. They're anonymous. We don't know who they are, but this has been out in a lot of different sources. BlackRock, let's see if we can zoom in a little bit on this piece here. BlackRock plans to offer crypto. CoinDesk reports that sources close to developments within BlackRock, the world's largest, I hear they recoup the same thing over and over again. Plans involve allowing its clients, which some of the biggest investment funds, to trade cryptocurrencies through its integrated investment management platform called Aladdin. And the service will allow BlackRock's client to borrow from the manager using crypto as collateral. That's interesting because we've seen this at the exchange level. So it's interesting that it's now coming to the institutional level. When you look at how many people participate in their asset management platform, Aladdin, there's quite a few people there to talk about. It'll allow so this is interesting. Another adds that a working group as many as 28 persons has been set up to evaluate cryptocurrencies. Not the first time BlackRock's getting associated with plans around crypto. Last year, BlackRock's chief investment officer of global fixed income, Rick Reeder, told CNBC that the asset manager had started to get exposure in the Bitcoin space and had allocated its assets to it. So more adoption on the way for crypto. That's what I'm talking about. Crypto market's seeing unprecedented levels of mainstream adoption. Many institutions have not paid attention to the industry in the past are coming out with crypto investment strategies. Something that Jeff and I, the other dude, talk a lot about. And this week, KPMG Canada announced that it added Bitcoin and Ethereum to its institutional treasury. It's big stuff, guys. I mean, when you think about adoption, you start thinking about money sitting on the sidelines, people looking to get in, people to have their money in other investments, right? Maybe it's precious metals, maybe it's one of the bunch of different stock markets located around the world. We're talking about game changers. BlackRock's getting in, right? You start seeing an exchange like Binance buying into traditional publication. Jeff and I have have touted this around a lot about exchanges buying banks, banks buying exchanges. That's happening in Germany, where a big exchange is buying a 250-year-old bank in Germany. This is getting a little bit crazy. And all the time we're like, well, what's going on with the price? The price isn't moving. Look, you got to look at a couple things. You got to look at when from a perspective of investing, a couple different things you can try on. One of them is, does it have utility? Because the ones that are going the distance have utility. They're actually solving a problem. They're not a solution and looking for a problem, right? There's a lot of things solving problems out there, but they're not quite, nobody really cares about it. A lot of times there's a lot of products out there. It's like, hey, this does that. That's cool. Do I need one? No. So they don't always make it as well. And countries which have seen regulatory concerns for the crypto industry also seeking to be more friendly to the asset class. Russia, perfect case study in this. The government of Russia has been a while divided over its crypto stance, but now it has decided to provide some regulatory clarity for the industry instead of banning it. And for the last 2 years, at least on the chain here, we've talked about back and forth. 1 week, we have a story or several stories that India banning crypto. It's going away. The next week, they're thinking about it. There might be a way they can work it. The next week, they're banning it, right? So we heard similar stories about Russia. They're banning it. They're not banning it. Of course, the central bank came out and said, this is not good. We have to get rid of crypto. And then, of course, it wasn't, the president comes out, Vladimir Putin comes out and says, oh, no, man, we're not against crypto. No, we're cool with it. We got a story that's coming up that validates that as well. So wanted to throw this in here. Let's see. We got another one going here. KHUD, thank you for that very much, KHUD. I'm not a financial advisor. Grab all the gusto that you can with the run-up. That's not bad advice right there. Appreciate that, KHUD. Thank you for the support. And we also have in here, KHUD again. They're going to dump on the masses. Well, that remains to be seen, but it's very, very, very possible. It could happen. It's possible. So let me see what other stories we have in the grab bag over here. This is a good one here. I mean, as always, John Deaton, what an incredible superhero he is for the XRP community. And I'll even take that a step further for all of crypto, because we all know that the SEC v. Ripple, it's not an attack on, it's an attack on Ripple, but it's an attack on all of crypto. And for us to go forward, get a win, which I believe is going to happen in some capacity, we have this right here. And this is John Deaton just commenting on that story we were just looking at, which is, this is the story of BlackRock. It says BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, going to get into crypto trading. And John Deaton says, yeah, crypto might be here to stay. Well, absolutely, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Then we have some comments here. John, proud member of your international army. Love you, brother. Then this is James A. Squire says, did you see the metrics from JP Morgan analysts on the massive institutional capital moving into crypto now? I think that was something we talked about the other night. And people were like, well, JP Morgan. Listen, guys, the data is the data. And if you see a lot of institutional, especially if we start seeing something different happening, if we start seeing that stock market starting to feel some pain points, starting to go down, where is the money going to go? Will it go on the sidelines, or will it go into a surging crypto market? That's the real question. But I love reading the comments here because what he's talking about here is undeniable huge amounts of money pouring into crypto and blockchain. Not only that, but if you want to look at what's happening with the investment, it's incredible, the amount of investment. Every day I must see 10, 15 stories about big investment in blockchain stuff. So there you go. Take a look at Craig Phillips under Ripple's board of directors. It's only obvious. Come on, guys. Proof's in the pudding. Can we flip the switch yet? Well, it's funny because David Schwartz accidentally flipped the switch in the middle of the night. So he said, of course, he likes to joke around. And here's some sound advice for crypto investors. Investors must remember that crypto does not have any underlying, not even a tulip. This is Saktikanta Das. He's the governor of RBI, which is one of the largest banks over in India. And that is absolutely spot on right there. My gosh, spot on. spot on. And what do we have here? Let's see. We've got another one. Oh, here we go. This is, here we go. Great man. The other dude, otherwise known as Jeff, was seen doing something strange for XRP, says someone familiar. Says someone familiar with the matter. If in strange we're talking about this, I'm all for it. Something else strange, I don't know. I'll take that with Jeff, but that's some good stuff right there. The other dude known as Jeff doing something strange, a source familiar. Yeah, that's how they love to do that stuff. Don't they love to do that? A source. What source? Who is it? Who are they? Oh, we don't know. That way, if they're wrong, we're like, you know, what does the source know? Sources, what do they know? They don't know much. Hold XRP, XLM. That's 4-digit money right there. 4 digits in value, says K-HUD. And let's see what else we got here in the grab bag. We got a lot in the grab bag. This is something I saw ran across today, and I really wanted to download this, but we probably won't get a chance to. And usually, if Jeff's here, the other dude, then we would actually, he would be chatting you guys up, and I would be like downloading in the background. I just didn't have the chance to do it. But what we're gonna do is read through the thread right here. Is this again? This is Ripple put this tweet out today, and I want to just kind of parse this here. Let's go through it. So Ripple put this out. They say from NFTs and CBDCs, which are better known as central bank digital currencies, to crypto liquidity, payments, and compliance, our newest report provides a fresh perspective on the global use, benefits, and perception of crypto solutions. Read more for insight for the driving forces behind this. And if you click on that link right there, it'll open up right here. And you can see this is a little bit of what the report looks like. See if I can flip through it a little bit. But yeah, they put this together in a nice PDF. And what we'll do is we'll download that. We'll take a look at it and see if I'm sure there's lots of great tidbits in this. But if you guys are interested in reading this, I can go ahead and throw that link right in the chat right there so you guys can take a look. And here you go. So obviously, this is it's a lead here. If people are interested, they put their organization and it helps out biz dev. And let's go through this. So blockchain and digital assets are changing value the way internet changed information. It's amazing when you can use a few words to say a lot. Really, really like that. By creating a vast, decentralized, guys, we're going to get into this word later. This word decentralized is probably one of the best words to emerge out of this century because it's going to be important for all humans going forward. By creating a vast decentralized network that is driving new efficiencies, capabilities, and even new industries. And we've seen all kinds of things cropping up. As blockchain and cryptocurrencies mature, an increasing amount of businesses are leveraging them in various ways, and more consumers both understand and own digital assets. And we talked about this the other night. We were talking about who owns digital assets in the US. There was some pretty interesting numbers. With increased consumer adoption comes high expectations within institutions, businesses, governments for wide-scale adoption of blockchain, crypto, and CBDCs. And, it's really amazing to see that Ripple is on the cutting edge. They have been for a long time. They've been on the leading edge of a lot of the technology, especially in the payment space. But, it's a big enough space. There's room for everybody. It's not that there's only one player. No, there can be room for plenty. There's so much money out there to be moved. But use cases also have expanded for XRP as well. And again, if you have a coil subscription that you're paying for on a monthly basis, and you happen to be watching this in your browser or on a mobile browser like Puma, thank you very much, because that contributes to on the chain, helps out the channel, and it's great. It's really fun to see an email that we receive that says you received this much XRP, and that's from you guys, so it's much appreciated. I have been an early adopter of Coil from the beginning, and even though I may not have all the use cases places I could go to use it, I have to say that because I'm a believer in the technology and I love the idea, and Twitter kind of stole a little bit of this. So Twitter kind of introduced something interesting, something called Twitter Blue. I think it's $2.99 or $3.99 a month. And what is it? What do you get for that? Well, there's a couple things that are pretty interesting, and OTC participates in this. But one use case that reminded me an awful lot of Coil was if you go to member websites, you don't see the advertising anymore, because what they do is they send micro payments. Does that sound familiar? micropayments for ad revenue for basically subjugating the actual ads. They send little micropayments, and so they'll say, hey, if you visit this link, it's a member partner, and you can visit it, and you're not going to see any advertisement. So that sounds like we heard that before, but wouldn't it be great too that I could go to all those sites as well, and like Condé Nast, I know there's a bunch over there, but there's some that I would do visit that do use Coil, but there's not enough. And again, the whole idea is we wouldn't need all these subscriptions to all these places if everybody had a $5 or $10 Coil subscription, because those micropayments would add up. So I think user adoption on that is key. It's something I'm a big supporter of, and I really hope that it does get to a point of mass saturation. We go back into the chat here. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so this is interesting. Liz Taylor says she's putting money into XDC. There's a feeling that it's going to get listed on Coinbase. This is what Liz thinks, and I've seen this floated a little bit too. Price will never be 6 cents again. It will likely hit 24% immediately if that happens. And that's another crypto out there that has a use case that started out as one thing for trade finance and started evolving to some other things. So I think that just like when Ripple got started, and they were obviously gifted OpenCoin, which became XRP, use cases started growing for XRP. And I think this will happen to a lot of different cryptocurrencies out there. But the same with XDC. I don't know if it'll ever be 6 cents again. I mean, it's hard to say, but if history has anything to say about it, probably not. I think Liz is onto something there. So, and I think it's a pretty solid. Again, they're solving a couple good problems there, especially with the trade finance. People say, well, there'll be a lot of people entering trade finance. Yeah, but you have to start somewhere, and this is where they started, and then it starts evolving. But I want to get into the feature story tonight, something that I teased a little bit in the open, and really talk about why decentralization is so key and so important. And as I pull these links up here, what I want you guys to focus on and just run this through. Now, whether you agree with what's happening or not happening, or you like it or you don't like it, look, it's chocolate or vanilla or strawberry or any other flavor you like, you have a preference for it. But I believe it's more about the use case, and I believe it's more about the overarching concept here that's probably the most important. So I want to dive into this. Let me pull these two things up here first. And let's talk about this. So if you guys have been following and before we get into that, let's see what KHUD has to say here. KHUD, what's up? I want to be careful because if you've not invested for a time period, the market is at a peak. You don't want to do more than you can lose. And that's always good advice. Look, in any kind of investing, especially when you start getting into a riskier asset, maybe the meme coins or stocks is really good advice. And you invest what you can afford to lose. You don't want to be putting your rent money, your mortgage payments, your all this kind of stuff into the next big thing that's gonna moon because the moon boys and girls said it was gonna moon, and you know how that goes, right? We all know how that, we all seen that before. We know how that ends. But I want to talk a little bit about a very specific use case that I see as being very important. One of the reasons that I believe Bitcoin is going to continue to surge. At some point, it will surpass 100,000. Remember, there's a very limited supply. People talk about 21 million. That's never going to happen. I would guesstimate the max on that, even if we go out to when every last bit of Bitcoin's been mined, 2040, 2042, somewhere around there. We're talking maybe there might be somewhere in the neighborhood of 16 million. Maybe. I think 5-6 million have already been lost. The early days, people lost. And we've seen stories here where people have lost, put it on a cold storage wallet, got locked out, couldn't get into it. People threw away hard drives early days. So a lot of it's going to be missing. If it gets to 17 million, I would think that would be a peak. But if you guys are following what's happening up in Ottawa and up in Canada as a whole, you have the truckers that have had their, they want to basically protest the way they would like to protest. And what's one of the things come out of that is it's kind of gained some steam. Other countries around the world have sort of jumped in and stepped in. From what I can see, it's been very peaceful. I really hope that it remains a peaceful demonstration. People have the right to have their voices heard, and it needs to be peaceful by all means. And one of the things they did is that they started a fund and GoFundMe. So GoFundMe raised a lot of money. It was a lot of money, and I don't remember what the exact amount was. You guys want, you can throw it in there, but they raised a lot of money. And then when they said, "Oh, it's for that," oh, we can't have that. I'm sorry, we're gonna find a cause and we're gonna donate to a cause. And then I think what happened is they got a little tap on the shoulder from legal counsel and said, no, you're gonna refund it. But I think what happened is a lot of people did chargebacks, and if you would charge back, you end up paying a $20 to $25 fee on top of the money that you had to refund. And that becomes a very costly thing. So that went out. So then what happened? Well, they went into they found another source to raise money, another fundraising source that apparently was supposed to be censorship free. That's what they claimed. It was a Christian-based funding site. Not a lot of fees were taken out. And check out what happened. Let's look at this. So breaking, Ontario government freezes access to millions of dollars donated to trucker convoy through GiveSendGo. So this is an evolution, and this is really a strong use case we're going to get into. But they froze the access. So they raised all this money and millions of dollars gone. Again, not able to access it because a government stepped in and censored it and said, made a judgment whether they like it or not, whether anyone likes it or not. Again, this was raised for a very specific purpose to give to people. And it's the same as GoFundMe. I've contributed a lot of GoFundMes. People they want to give to a certain cause or a person. And, like John Gill was here last night, his wife, which I'll be tweeting out and as well. But these are people we know. These are loved ones that want to raise money to cover medical expenses, whatever it may be. Now you've got this trucker convoy. There goes that money. So let's sum it up. First one on the first donations gone. Second donations, GiveSendGo, frozen. So let's get to the real meat and potatoes here. Freedom Convoy continues. Trudeau begs protesters to stop, and then the fundraiser raises $542,000 in Bitcoin. And guess what happens here? It's censorship proof. It's one of the key reasons that I absolutely love Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. I love the space. One of the reasons that it's so phenomenal is because the decentralization aspect of it. It's one of the reasons I've been very critical of CBDCs. Not the CBDCs themselves. Inherently, they are not bad. And I hope Ripple succeeds. I hope these other organizations, Stellar, I know they're getting involved in CBDCs. Look, I'm not going to put down an industry, but what I worry about is that human nature creeps in, and what we've seen. Look at this use case here. Would you think that you'd ever expect the Canadian government or any government to take money that was donated and then seize it? So that's the same exact thing that I believe is going to happen with the CBDCs. I believe that at some point, because you're able to, you might say, well, gee, buddy, you're a little overweight. You don't really need a soft drink. You really shouldn't be eating that kind of food. And then money's programmable and it doesn't work, or you track everything and everything people are spending and you get a fine in the mail. I mean, it sounds absurd, but go back and read 1984 and tell me if there's some things that sound familiar to you. Sounded insane when I first read it. Like, this could never happen. What kind of crazy stuff is this? This is way in the future. I didn't really realize it would be closer to my future. But anyway, yeah, BTC is slow as hell. It is, but who cares? When you're sending value to somebody, who cares? If you're a trucker and you've been out of work and you're sitting in a cab and it's cold up there in Canada. I grew up right across the border there. I spent a lot of time in Canada. A lot of my relatives still live in Canada. My grandfather immigrated to the US, and that was a good thing. That's why I'm here. But you can get into the particulars of Bitcoin. It's slow, the transactions per second, the this and that. But here's the use case right here. Let's dive into this a little bit more. So during the last week, a number of truckers still occupying the streets of Ottawa, protesting the, can't say that, on Monday, Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau begged protesters to stop the demonstration. It has to stop. That's what he said. And after the GoFundMe shut down their fundraiser, then you had advocates raise 12.41 Bitcoin worth 500. I expect that to rise. I think that's just the start. Trying to go through here and see what I can read here, because you got to be careful. Hundreds of thousands in censorship-resistant crypto raised since GoFundMe reversed the truckers' fundraiser. 3 days ago, Bitcoin.com news reported on cryptocurrency advocates reacting to GoFundMe's decision on a 2 crypto-infused fundraisers. Bitcoin Cash, we know it as BCH, started a Flipstarter fundraiser to raise 100 BCH for the truckers. And so far, Flipstarter's raised 24 BCH, close to 8,000. Not a lot of money, but hey, guess what? Cannot be censored. Cannot be shut down. And that's in today's rates. Another fundraiser on NewsDesk reported that was crafted on Twitter account dubbed the Honkhonk HODL. There you go, right there. I'm going to read this tweet right here. So this is K HUD says, if you want to be a frog in the pot and you want to be controlled, it's coming. If you guys don't know the frog in the pot story, it's kind of how things creep in. Everybody's like, wait a minute, just a few weeks? I'm down with that. Just this other thing? I'm down with that. Hey, just this other point, I'm down. Oh, that's the frog in the blender. That's the frog in the pot. Frog's in the pot. Huh, kind of cold in here. Feels a little weird. Oh, it's starting to feel a little bit warmer. Wow, it's feeling really warm. Oh my God, I'm burning up. And then the frog's done. And that's it. That's how it works. Because it happens so gradually, you don't even know it's creeping up on you. But I love this, Honkhonk HODL. Let's see what this is. Let me open this up. Let's take a look at that right there. Honkhonk HODL. There it is right there. It's 59.1. The goal was 21 Bitcoin. It raised 59. That's pretty incredible. Okay, so this is the other one we talked about. This is the Love Unity Freedom, raising hard money for hard workers. And how many? I already have 7,000 followers for that. Hosted on the Tally platform. Again, Tally raised 541,000. That was in the Bitcoin. So far, people can donate on-chain or leverage the Lightning Network and send support. 53% of the Bitcoin donors donated to the Convoy's fundraiser on-chain, while the rest utilized the Lightning Network. And Lightning does it does speed up the transaction, but in a case like this, I'm not sure speed's important. I think it could be more important in other areas, but again, you can sit there and argue, well, it's not fast enough. And Fox News anchor Carlson said the only way around a stranglehold is technology has on our human rights is decentralization. And that's it right there, guys. That's it. And that's pretty much it. That's the theme that we talk so much about here. We could have called it on the chain. We could have called it decentralization chain, whatever, but it's something we believe heavily in. And I think it's best for all people because the problem with we're always going to get into somebody picking winners and losers. It's always a bad sign when governments are picking winners and losers. We like that there. Oh, no, that thing over there. We don't really care for that thing, but that thing over there we like. Picking winners and losers is bad. The best way to pick winners and losers is for people, is one of the greatest experiments in humankind, which was the formation of the United States of America. It's not a perfect society by any means. I'm not sitting here touting that it's the greatest thing, but as an experiment, look what followed. A couple hundred years later, we had a lot more democracies cropping up. And one of the unique parts about that I always tout here on the chain about really the U.S. and its founders, it's why it took a long time to figure it out. Yeah, there was that Revolutionary War against Great Britain, but the Constitution is one of the few documents globally that limits the power of the government. The other ones, a lot of the other constitutions talk about what the government can do. This one talks about what the government can't do and gives its freedoms to the people itself, and that's worth fighting for because a lot of people have fought for that freedom and fought for us to have the right to say that those particular things. And it's up to all of us. And that's what I love about blockchain and crypto. It's bringing us all together. And it is, I mean, it's bringing unity, right? I mean, we're a global community here, especially on the chain. We're a global community. And I'm just impressed at what we've been seeing. Carlson, I'm just talking about this. Carlson, no, wrong button there. Carlson spoke about Honkhonk HODL Fundraiser on the Tally platform. He said, now, why is it appealing? No one can steal the money. No government can pressure anyone to turn the money over because governments do not control crypto. And that is so well said because you know who does? We do. We, the people, control our own investments. We control what happens. And if we want to donate to this cause and you want to donate to, I don't know, ducks being pushed off a ledge, I don't know what it is. I'm not saying that would happen, but the people should pick winners and losers. Markets should pick winners and losers. I mean, imagine if the government was actually, and any government, let's say your government, they don't produce anything. All they do is take from people, right, through taxation. But let's suppose they were going to create something. They create they were going to create their own social platform. And it's like just the user experience is bad. It's horrible from a user standpoint. But no. This was the official one. This is the official one you can use. You can't use any of the other ones out there. It has to be this one. That's not good either because competition allows the market to choose and allows innovation to happen. And that's one of the things that we're struggling with here in the US right now is this whole idea of innovation not going so well. But I have a really strong feeling that this is going to end up pretty solid because I'm almost 110% positive that today's XRP, guess what? It is not a security. Okay, it has tons of use case, lots of stuff going on. And, I feel like the SEC just overstepped a little bit there. We have K-HUD. Chip, you're doing a great job today. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, sometimes I like to get in my rants. Jeff does his rants on Saturday morning. I will do my rant here. Sometimes I get off, but I love to, aside from the news and everything, I think these are important and it's stuff that I love to talk about. So I'm glad to hear it. It's resonating. Alex D Vlogs, land of the free, home of the brave, XRP. Well said, my man. Well said. If you guys aren't following Alex D, you really ought to be. Alex D puts out top-notch videos. Alex D Vlogs. We had him on the chain not too long ago. We probably have to get you back on here, man, because it was fun having you on here last time. But anyway, he's got a catchphrase. It's worth watching all of his videos to the end because I cannot say it here, and it's not my catchphrase, but I will say it's worth the wait. So that's what I will say right there. Right, Alex? Yeah, right on, man. So let's go into a couple of these other stories we have here. Let's see what we got here. I want to look, man, there's so much good stuff. Oh, this is another. I'm telling you, man, what's going on this week? Is it 2022? So incredible. So I would say, and this is just me telling you, I don't think it's anybody else telling you, but this is just me. It's a personal thing. It's my own opinion. You don't have to agree with it. But what I'm concerned about is now that crypto's become such a big deal, be very wary of candidates running for public office, politicians, if you will, coming out and saying, oh, I'm crypto, I'm pro-crypto. They hit all the buzzwords, all the right switches. I'm pro-crypto. And then you look under the hood, you're like, whoa, what's that over there? That looks a lot like one of the isms, socialism, Marxism, right? It looks a lot like the ism. You're like, but I can't be 100% sure. I might have to get a closer look. But no, let me distract over here. Check this out. I'm pro-crypto. I love crypto. I'm starting to see that crop up. And I'm going to give you guys a really good example of how that sort of happened. If you guys remember, I believe his name is Eric Adams. Is that a right name? I can't remember. He has such a common name. It reminds me a lot of people that I know. But the mayor of New York, when he was running for mayor, was like, I'm pro-crypto. I'm going to get one paycheck in crypto, maybe two. I might get 4 paychecks in crypto. And you had Suarez from Miami, the mayor of Miami, saying, no, I'm going to get 10 crypto right there. I don't even know what's happened. I don't even know if they got any, and then he couldn't do it because I guess, they can't actually get paid in crypto. So I guess and then if you had to go buy it yourself, I guess that didn't count. I don't know. But look at this right here. This right here it's incredible. Eric Adams, I did get that right, but sometimes so look at this right here, guys. So Cointelegraph put this out. Give the people what they want. By the way, that's a fantastic song by the Kinks. If you want to go back and listen to that, a phenomenal song circa 1981, 82, somewhere around there. Give the people what they want. Also, one of their self-titled albums. That is a phenomenal album. Although I listened to it not too long ago, and there was I'm not going to get into it, but anyway, everything has a point in time and a time of reference. But billionaire investor Bill Ackman has called for New York City Mayor Eric Adams to look into the crypto regulatory clampdowns associated with Bitcoin license and remove any regulatory hurdles that could force innovators to migrate. What do you call this? I'll tell you what I call it. Put your money where your mouth is. You are spouting the Bitcoin, and I'm a Bitcoin. I want New York City to run on Bitcoin. The whole world's going to run on Bitcoin, but it's going to start right here in the Big Apple, New York City. Now, got Bill Ackman calling him out, saying, "Okay, all right, fair enough. Let's see you put your money where your mouth is. Let's see you come and actually blow away the regulatory hurdles. Let's see if you can do that." Because it's basically forcing innovators elsewhere. So I love this. This is what you call a throwdown. I want to go into this story right here a little bit. Let's look at this right here as it's loading. He called upon the city's authorities to ensure more innovators don't migrate because the regulatory hurdles. BitLicense was introduced in 2015 that governed various aspects of related to crypto and issuance and exchange. Any virtual currency business operating in the state of New York or managing such investments from residents in New York, my former hometown state, which I grew up in, must obtain the license before starting operations. Billionaire Ackerman called upon the newly elected Bitcoin mayor and Governor Kathy Hochul to look into the growing regulatory concerns. So you get called out right there. Just like that. And that right there is how it happens. And this is why we have a voice. That's why the crypto movement is so important. That's why blockchain, decentralization, DeFi, it's so very, very important. Okay, let's say in there. Chip's the kind of guy you want to take to buy a car. I got some good stories about buy the car. That's funny because friends have taken me to help them buy the car because, yeah, man, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's a fun thing, but I have been there before, and for me, it's kind of fun. For other people, it's not so much fun, but yeah, it's kind of fun. Anyways, let's go into it. What are we doing on time here? We're running down. Man, I'm just rambling on all kinds of stuff tonight. But there was one thing that I did want to play, and there's so much stuff, guys. And the thing I will tell you guys is that if you are new here, if you're not subscribed, look down. Are you subscribed? If you're not subscribed, best thing to do is you can like, and where's our stuff here? There we go, right there. Subscribe. That's it. Click the notification bell. That way you get notifications when you go live. You might not always get them, but you'll get them most of the time. Because I know Jeff and I are subscribed. We don't even get them on my personal account, so I don't think it's a thing. But I wanted to play this. There's two more things that I wanted to see if we can wrap up with here. My dad sent me this the other day, and this is my hometown. Actually, I got to share this again because you guys know what happens when there's no volume. If there's no volume, shout right away in there because we had a little mishap the other day, and I want to make sure that there is volume on this thing. And let's see. I just heard my daughter sneeze super loud down the hallway there. I don't know if you guys caught that or not. But anyway, let me do this. Let's make sure we spend a little time. Okay, so I wanted to play this, but Dad sent this to me in a text, and I wanted a big shout out to my dad. A lot of times he's watching. So if you're watching Dad, he watches on the TV, and it's giant screen TV. So he puts it on there. So if he was in the chat, he wouldn't be saying, "Hey, what's up?" But he'll tell me later. But I thought this is pretty interesting. Look at this right here. This is a network that I grew up with when in Western New York.
Streaming live from downtown Buffalo.
You guys hear that? Tell me you hear that.
This is 7 News.
Some relatively new business ventures are generating some controversy in Niagara Falls. Good evening, I'm Febin Cassahoon.
And I'm Hannah Bueller. The controversy surrounds.
So guys, I want to make sure I'll take a little break here, make sure you hear it, because I know you guys hear me, but put something in there because I don't want to have a meltdown. I play 2 minutes of video, you guys were screaming and there was no audio, but it's, I'm looking all over the different screens. Sometimes I may miss it. And a lot of shout outs to Dad. Hey, Chip's Dad, come join us in the chat. There you go, right there. That's pretty cool. Let's see. What else do we have here? Yeah, sounds good. Okay, let's listen to the story. This is interesting because this is a Buffalo News Network covering Bitcoin.
Bitcoin mining facilities. Some people are complaining about an irritating sound resonating from those facilities in the Cataract City. The Niagara Falls City Council tells us complaints are flooding in. So 7 News reporter Ryan Arbogast sat down with the company to get some answers.
7 News is taking you inside a Niagara Falls cryptocurrency mining facility for the very first time.
We are a data center operator. We build and deploy servers, and these are highly specialized servers that, in this particular case, they generate Bitcoin as a digital asset.
Block Fusion is one of 3 data centers that made its way to Niagara Falls. And the falls is the reason they're here.
Niagara Falls has a lot of hydropower, and we have the majority of our power is now renewable energy.
CEO Alex Martini tells 7 News they're all about Western New York, hiring 60 employees from our area already and looking for more as we speak.
I think one of the most important thing is to hire locally. Access to a talent pool locally, it's really what is going to make a company successful and is going to integrate us with the community.
But it's not all sunshine and rainbows for these cryptocurrency mining facilities. The Niagara Falls City Council tells me they've gotten at least 20 complaints about the noise. People in Niagara Falls saying they used to hear the falls in their backyard, and now all they hear is the hum of the miner.
We're not in residential areas, so I don't think they would apply to us.
Block Fusion is in a pretty remote area, so they may be right. But listen as we take you to the U.S. Bitcoin facility on Buffalo Ave. Niagara Falls Mayor Rob Restano says we're on it, instituting a moratorium halting all new crypto until mid-June. In a statement to 7 News, they're, quote, providing the city an opportunity to develop a detailed plan as to location and requirements for commercial data centers / data mining. Ryan Arbogast, 7 News, Niagara Falls.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting because, this is in that part of the city they're talking about it. What I loved is that what I found pretty funny was the one guy, he's like, you guys saw that those drone shots of what it was called, Bitfusion, whatever the company was called, and they were complaining about the hum. But meanwhile, it was just like one other facility that they showed on the screen for about 6 seconds. And he's like, it doesn't apply to us. We're not in a residential area. So, the story is a little bit, kind of clickbaity, and the residents are complaining. You put those kind of stories up and people are like, whoa, what news is there? And you could see it was like in a bunch of factories. So it wasn't really that much of a big deal right there. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to get to this one here. This is good. We probably end on this one here. So Mickey B. Fresh, thank you for this. He tagged me in this and because you can't see everything that's on the internet, especially on crypto Twitter, but you do see what you can, and it's enjoyable. So let's look at this here. So Mickey B. Fresh said, June of 2013, after the XRPL, otherwise known as the Ripple network, was built out, Ripple kicked off XRP giveaway. Now, guys, don't you wish you were there for this? Check this out. 25,000 beta users to use XRP coins designed primarily to enable trading on Ripple payment network as a currency. The value of XRP does not limit its use for payments. That's amazing, right? Exactly the opposite of an ICO, which you could pretty much say happened with Ethereum. So Mickey B. Fresh, this is some really good stuff. Let me pull these guys up here. I got to come out of this. There we go. So Ripple turns on giveaway faucet 5 days after the giveaway began. Ripple's still trickling its XRP currency to the market, 1,000 ripples at a time. Just imagine. This was June 5th, 2013, when probably none of us were really paying attention to any of this. And then here he marks this up, saying a long anticipated giveaway. The company sent Ripple's units of its alternative currency, also known as XRP, over to 25,000 beta users. The users had signed up to the email list as part of the giveaway. The coins are designed primarily to enable trading on the Ripple payment system. Every time a trade's made, a fraction of a Ripple is destroyed from a finite amount. To make a trade in any currency, a Ripple account must have 12 Ripples available for each order, and each account must be stocked with 50 Ripples to be active. So he's making a really, really good point here. Let me let's view this in the reader here. And then it goes on to say that XRP has been a currency since the very first day, was freely distributed out to an already built out open payment network. XRP use currency for trading and payments and other fiat currencies and commodities. XRP coins used this currency from day one, which was nearly a decade ago. This is really good stuff. This is what I love about the internet, especially Mickey B. Fresh, who's very, very talented, especially breaking down the DeFi stuff, gives everyday users an easy way to understand it. So I want to thank Mickey B. Fresh for that. He's been a guest here on the chain as well, and probably a good idea to get him back on here too. We need to get some more people back from the community. It's great having Blockchain back around the other night. I certainly enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun, having him on here. And what else do I have? I might have one more in the grab bag here. Let me see what we have. Man, there's so much stuff. It's like, what do I get finished with? Because a lot of these are longer. And I'm just trying to figure out what we're gonna. Here's another one. This is a metaverse, but still, it's pretty incredible. So this is a metaverse land investor. Everyrealm raises $60 million, and it was led by Andreessen Horowitz, which Andreessen was an early investor in Ripple, and about 4,000 other projects out there. So it was formerly called Republic Realm. It rebranded. It pulled investors like Coinbase Ventures, Paris Hilton, and it buys up the metaverse. There's one thing here I thought was pretty interesting. Okay, here it is right here. So Everyrealm invests and develops virtual land plots and NFT-based metaverse game worlds. For example, the company spent a record $4.3 million on a plot of land in the Sandbox in November. It also holds land in the metaverse games like Decentralization and Somnium Space. All told, the company holds over 3,000 NFTs, and it has invested in 25 different game worlds. You think like, well, imagine this. They're buying NFTs. I mean, this is where this is going. In a world that's, it only exists and it's in the metaverse, right? So it's not real. It's not a plot of land you go out and grab the dirt and look, but in the metaverse with the goggles on and how that's going to evolve and eventually be a pair of glasses, eventually be contacts, eventually be implants, right? We'll get there. And that's why I say it's truly incredible to see where we're heading with the technology. I absolutely am just blown away by it. And look at this. Here's some more adoption right here. And here's another crypto partnership. One of the biggest football clubs in the world. You got Man United. Man United onboards Tezos as its official Web3 and training kit partner. Again, you're starting to see the metaverse, more adoption of the metaverse, starting to see more things come in. Here's Tezos. It'll help Man U build a fan-centered ecosystem based on the metaverse concept. The soccer club aims to introduce its fans to decentralized Web3 tech amid growing focus from mainstream firms and brands. The team would like to make its first appearance in the new kit on Saturday against Southampton. Man U's previous sponsorship deal with Aon expired last month. Tezos will be paying 33% on top of the previous agreement at $27 million yearly. Tezos will help the soccer club gain more exposure to Web3. And you go like, that's not a bad deal the way you look at it. It's pretty solid the way I would look at it. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. Really appreciate you guys. It's Thursday night. We're off tomorrow night. We don't broadcast on Fridays, but Saturday at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. plus Jeff will be doing the solo broadcast, and then we'll be back together Sunday night for another banging episode of On the Chain, where we bring you the latest and greatest in digital assets and full of opinions and decentralization and freedom and unity and this global experiment that's going on right now that's looking very successful. So I want to thank everybody for being here. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate it's one of, like Jeff and I always say, one of the most intelligent universes of crypto people is here in the chat right now. So love that. Guys, have a good one. Chip out. I will see you guys on the next one. You guys have yourselves a great weekend. Talk soon. Chip out.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.